Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 2019 Ginetta G10 RM. So Ginetta was founded in 1958 in the UK, and RM equals remastered. So yeah, you can basically think of this as the likes of those Jaguars that have had a new lease of life, or what Eagle did with the Speedster. So yeah, this is basically a modern version of the 1960s G10 Racer that was reasonably successful. In fact, it beat a Jaguar lightweight E-Type to pole position, and that was due to this weighing very little back in the day, and it having a potent 4.7 litre V8 engine. But as the name suggests, this has been overhauled for the most part to fit more modern standards. But in terms of the body, it for the most part looks exactly the same as the 1960s original, as it is based on the same molds from that period. So yeah, you got 60s gorgeous looks, which looks like something like a cross between an Aston Martin, a Jaguar at the front, side profile of maybe like a Lancia Fulvia maybe. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at, with that roof line and that's flat back end on the go. But then you've got your twin exhausts, you've got the really nice big wheels, and yeah, it just looks absolutely superb. But like I said, because it is a remastered version, it has had an overhaul in certain aspects. It's got a remastered tubular space frame chassis, race-inspired brakes, adjustable suspension, and a 5-speed manual gearbox. And instead of the 4.7 litre V8 you got in the original car, we've now got a 6.2 litre V8 producing 450 horsepower and 434 pounds-feet of torque. Now unfortunately I can't show you the engine because, yeah, for whatever reason we're not allowed to actually open it on this game. Could just well as easily be because it's, you know, such a limited production car that getting the bonnet open is probably a bit of a faff. But still, the interior also looks pretty good. Again, this has had a slight overhaul in terms of new materials being used, but it's all classic materials at the end of the day. So you've still got a wood steering wheel, you've got leather door inlets, and yeah, there are some mod cons here that you wouldn't have probably found on the racing car, like a heater and blower. You've also got a heated screen, but yeah, you still only got wind down windows, and yeah, it's all very basic, but that's just to help keep it as lightweight as it is, as it only weighs 2,094 pounds. That's about 200 pounds less than the Jaguar lightweight E-Type. So yeah, more power than that car, although whether or not the 4.7 litre V8 from the 60s had around the same power or not, I don't know. But considering it actually beat that Jaguar, then yeah, it should have easily had as much power while also weighing less as well. So yeah, let's get out onto the open road and see what this car can do. So because this is very lightweight, has a huge amount of power going through its rear wheels, and has quite an aerodynamic body, it's actually pretty damn sharpish in a straight line. So let's see what it can do before we hit the speed camera, and then we'll get it round the track. So yeah, this might have some modern elements to it, but it's still a very old school kind of approach to you know, being a sports car or a race car. As yeah, the power comes in great big lumpfuls. It's really a train when it comes to acceleration, nearly 150 miles an hour there, which is not bad at all. And yeah, it can be a little bit tricky though at times. It does like to oversteer and step out, sometimes at random, sometimes not, but that's just part of the charm to it, because you were driving the car and it's not driving you like a lot of modern cars do. So yeah, it's got a massive amount of charm in that regard. But granted, it's still a little bit old school in other ways. The brakes are not the best, even though they are apparently race inspired. And especially considering that you've not got that much in the way of weight to slow down, the brakes could do with being a little bit better in that regard. But yeah, there's no doubt that this is a fun car to drive, and one that is really rather engaging to drive as well because of the way it's set up. So rivals, we're in high-end A class, which is pretty good. We've got nearly 50-50 weight distribution on the go, and yeah, those are the stats. So as you can see, the brakes, like I said, are not particularly great, but the launch, acceleration, handling and speed are all solid. And yeah, but this is more of a car that's about the experience more than, you know, raw numbers and stats and the like. So yeah, To get the full experience though, we're actually going to go in the interior for this review of this car, which we don't normally do, but that's just to get the entire experience, because this ultimately sounds even better on the inside than it does on the outside. So let's hear what it sounds like first, and then we'll talk about it some more. So yeah, it sounds absolutely incredible. I love the engine on this. It's really an old school kind of engine. It doesn't rev particularly high like a lot of modern V8s do. Even from America, a lot of modern V8s now rev to at least around 7,000 RPM. But this is more old school in its approach, and yeah, it does give you a feel of what the car might have been like back in the 60s. So yeah, and it is a handful to drive at times. As you saw there, I was you know, soaring at the wheel there just to keep it going in a straight line. But again, that's just part of the fun of this car. It's just such an engaging car to drive, and even if it is sliding around and whatnot, it's ultimately still able to hold it once you get used to how it handles, that is. I did spin around a few times when I first got in it, but yeah, once you do get used to it, it is real fun to drive, and yeah, satisfying to drive as well, because you are, at the end of the day, like I said, driving it, and it's not driving you. Acceleration wise though, even though you know, this isn't all about raw numbers, it is still ultimately extremely quick in a straight line for a car of this type. So 0 to 16, 4 seconds dead, 0 to 108.1 seconds, and it will go to a top speed of 197 miles an hour, because even though it's only a 5-speed, it does have quite long, you know, kind of old school kind of gear ratios on the go. So yeah, massive fun this is. Really love it. We've never had anything from Ginetta before, as far as I'm aware. I have tried to research that in terms of previous cars on previous Forza games, but I can't find anything from Ginetta before, which is a great shame, because obviously this is great, and it would have been nice to have you know, the original 60s car to just see what that was like in comparison. But still, I am glad we've really got this in the game. And you can get it via the car pack. It's called the Acceleration Car Pack, so it's one of 4 cars out of that car pack. Now granted, one of them, the McLaren Sabre, we've already seen in the likes of the new Forza Motorsport game, but the other 3 are completely new to the Forza series. So yeah, get out there and get the car pack if you haven't already, because it's a really nice varied car pack, and yeah, ultimately we do get a brand new manufacturer to the Forza series in the form of this Ginetta. So yeah, nonetheless, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.